Welcome to Saving Throws, the only podcast still paying off its arcane student loan to Stryxhaven. My name's Harry, and I think playing my cycling deck counts as cardio, right?
I'm Ali, and I just took a pottery class with Karn.
I'm Kingsley, and I confused the Necronomicon with a Mary Berry cookbook.
True. Very true.
Yeah. It's easy to get them mixed up when you swap over the covers and all of a sudden you're summoning a pudding elemental. It's horrible.
Better than raising your dead girlfriend from the dead, like an Evil Dead. I said dead a lot there. Anyway, moving away from dead things and necromancy, let's get right fucking into this. It's been a big week for all things fucking nerdy, man. We got Avatar news. We got fucking D&D news in many aspects, not just the tabletop. We got Pokemon news. We got a shit ton of MTG news. We are going to completely void the rules this week, guys. The rules will probably return, but now the podcast is moving to a bi-weekly thing. Usually, a lot of shit happens in 2 weeks. So, if no news has come out, then we will do roles. But if news has come out, we're going to probably sit and talk about that. What one do you guys want to start with? Do you guys want to start with the topics we all individually looked into, or something more neutral like the Pokemon news and the Avatar news and the D&D? I mean, the D&D movie news is pretty low. It's just the fact they fucking cast Hugh Grant to play the big bad. That's immediately some pretty big star power.
Hugh Grant and Chris Pine. I'm pretty sure Chris Pine is in the D&D.
See, I'm not sure if he is or not. I read a hilarious post that the directors hate Chris Pine because he came to the set and he wants to play a Kenku that's got negative charisma and they hired him to be a charisma-based character. I'm not sure if that was just shit or not, but I know confirmed Hugh Grant is the big bad of the D&D movie. Let's fucking hope it's better than the D&D movie we got in 2000. Even though
Chris Pine is definitely in it, which is wild.
Hey, high charisma.
Sophia Lillis is in it as well. She's the girl from It.
I'm just hoping it's better than the 2000s Dungeons and Dragons movie. Now, as a kid, I had that shit in video and fucking loved that. As an adult who loves D&D and all things fantasy, it's a piece of shit.
Oh, wait, are you talking about the D&D movie?
Yes, literally.
Trash. Snail's best character. Rest trash. Jeremy Irons as the big bad is just phenomenal. Blue-lipped Jeremy Irons is an image I will never be able to remove.
Blue-lipped Jeremy Irons is fucking weird. Blue-lipped and bald.
Yeah, blue-lipped bald Jeremy Irons.
Put some weird worms in your ears. But yeah, I guess we can just cover that D&D news. That's it, done. And for the movie, the cast, Hugh Grant is the big bad. We're getting some star power. It's going to be pretty good. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Also very nervous. But what do you guys want to do? You guys want to go to topics?
I'm gonna take a quick quick pivot. Never gonna try and shorten the word again. I'm taking a little piv. I'm a freaky little boy. I'm taking a little piv.
Oh, every fucking time it returns. The only time it didn't return was the Ashlyn Rose episode where you didn't say the freaky little boy shit you usually do, and now it's fucking back with a vengeance.
Here's my freaky little boy shit. Here's my piv pitch. Ali said at the beginning we're not going to talk about weird shit and necromancy. Today I'm here to talk to you about weird shit and necromancy. Yeah, there's a brand new fucking Ravenloft source book coming out.
I have not read it. I've not read the news on it, but is there actually shit there? Because why? We got a Curse of Strahd module. Why do we need a Ravenloft source book now?
Well, sweetheart, let me tell you. The new UA shit that came out that is not just... It's kind of D&D are moving a little bit away. We saw it with Tasha's, where they're moving away from races and introducing this thing called lineages.
Oh, so we briefly touched on it with the big Mummy Milker vampire episode. Where we're talking about the new werewolf vampire, and I think it was witch or hag, new bloodline things. And I presume you're talking about this is going to come with that set, yes?
Yeah, so we've got the new lineages we know about, and I think they're the only ones being included are the ones in the current UA, which are the Dampier, which are like half vampires. In old Slavic mythology, it is when a woman laid with a vampire and that created a Dampier. We've got the Hexbloods, which are they're people who have been inflicted with hag's magic. So whether you were a child.
No, dude, immediately I want to play I don't even know what the Hexblood has, but I want to play a Hexblood forgot what they're called. A Hexblood Blood Hunter. That could be fun.
Yeah. But the cool thing about the Hexbloods is they have this unique feature where they can become a full hag if they consent to doing a very long ritual with another hag. and at
That's
which
really
point
weird.
they become an NPC. So the PC is taken away from the player. If the DM approves, it becomes a full-blooded hag.
That may be a little bit dangerous for, every DM has the player that once they gets bored of their character and like, I want to play something else now. That may be a bad thing to be like, I'm a hag now, so my new character, like that might be a little bit dangerous
so
for
my
people
new character is a Kenku rogue.
I mean, every DM has that. They have the player who has this crazy idea for a character in a good way, and then they play it like 2 times, and they're like, "So I want to play a different character." That was like, this campaign doesn't revolve indoors. You want your players to have fun, but Jesus Christ, come on! And I worry that might be like, "Oh yeah, well my guy's a hag now, so I'm this now."
yeah, but it's not just hags. It's all
the vampire stuff is gnarly. I want to play for my next campaign I play in, or next character that dies. I do want to play this vampire bloodline. Looks really fucking cool.
Yeah,
I'm really
absolutely.
But with the hex bloods, I mean, it's also like there is a lot of new things. A lot of the new lineages give you these 1d8 tables. So with the Dampier, you've got with the Reborn, you've got 2 1d8 tables, and with the hex blood, I'll tell you in a second. But the Hexblood is like hags, druidic stuff, fey magic, all sorts of stuff like that. So, I mean, for instance, one of these here is seeking a child. Your parent made a bargain with a hag. You are a result of this arrangement. And if that is something, if that happens, you can be like an elf, but you are actually a Hexblood, or a human, but you are actually a Hexblood. So that's what these lineages are. They're allowing you to play those races, but having these lineages gives you a different kind of play
that is hella interesting, because you guys are lore whores like me. Some listeners may be as well, and that's usually how hags are brought into the world, through these deals before they're born, and then that's how new hags are born of darkness. So I mean, from a narrative point of view, it could be fun, for like a DM, because I've done it. We've seen other DMs do it where they change your class for like the path you're going down. It could be cool though that if you started like, I don't know, maybe if you were like a warlock hag and you were saying the hag you're supposed to deal with is your patron, maybe if you lean too much into that magic, the DM is like, you have now become a vessel for this hag. Like an alternative way to kill your player is, it could even be a case of they're now a hag, and that player now comes back as a new character, and the party's goal is to set that player free. Could be fun.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So the Reborn are really cool. It's like the Hallowed one, but it's a full lineage, or like a full race, rather than just a background. So these are all like the Gothic lineages coming out in Ravenloft. So the Reborn is basically like, through some unknown means, you were brought back to life. And because of that, you have like these really cool like narrative features where there are certain things that can trigger your past life memories. I just think they're really cool.
Man, I was doing dead characters before they were fucking cool. What is going on? Yeah, man. Like, I mean, Kingsley plays in the campaign of my gunslinger, and he's a fucking he's someone that was dead that's brought back to life. And like 4 months after that character was created, we got Wildmount with their undead thing. Now we're getting this. Come on, man. I was doing before. It was fucking cool.
Yeah, everyone's obsessed with death. What's
up? Everyone's obsessed with death.
I really love the Reborn because you could do so much with it. It doesn't have to just be like, oh, I came back. Because you could be like a Frankenstein's monster, which I imagine is like the horror trope they're trying to do with this, like a scientific monster, but like also like a homunculi, like a golem. Like, there's so many cool things you could do with that. And like up until now, the go-to has always for like artificial kind of life has been the like Warforged or what have you, or however you want to do that, like mechanically. Like if you wanted to play a robot, you would go Warforged. But this opens so many doors for like interesting things to like run a character as, and like reflavor what like being a Reborn means for this character. Very, very sick. I love to see it.
Yeah, and the really cool stuff that they've introduced is that in addition to the lineages introduce like dual creature types. So the Dampier is obviously humanoid and undead. The Hexblood is fey and undead, and the Reborn has the choice of being humanoid and undead or humanoid and construct.
Oh, really?
Which,
the Hexblood's undead? Really?
No, sorry. The Hexblood. Did I misspeak? The Hexblood is Fey and humanoid. That's
okay. I was like, undead? Where's the undead coming from there? I was really curious. Okay.
So it's Fey and humanoid. But this is really interesting because, I mean, things like cure wounds and healing words don't affect undead or constructs.
Yeah. So, that's going to be fun.
I mean, it's one of those things that you as a DM obviously have to rule and be like, oh, okay, well, maybe this would actually help. Or, whether you actually let people do it, or if it's a construct, it's just like...
because I've got some edgy players at my table. I'm not going to name any names, but I totally envision for my campaign too, someone's going to be like, yeah, I'm coming back as this thing, and I'm like, have fun, never getting fucking healed.
Yeah, it's me.
Oh, boy.
Or just like using mending to heal up a construct. It's just a smart game.
Very fun.
But obviously, mending doesn't have the same amount of there's no healing on mending, I don't think. But yeah, a lot of the Gothic lineage stuff is really cool. It's also coming, the Gothic lineage is some of the major stuff that is coming out with Ravenloft. But we've also got a lot of other things. Like we've got obviously the Demi plane of Dread, I believe it is. Yeah, the Demi plane of Dread.
To be clear, this is a source book. This isn't an adventure module. Was. This is like Eberron or Wildmount. This is strictly a source book, correct?
Yeah, strictly a source book. Sorry,
if you
Demi plane, it's the Demi plane, the domain of Dread, which sounds like an MF Doom lyric, but it's Hasbro.
Sorry, don't want to interrupt. But you were asking, Ali, why we would go here when we have the module. It's interesting. Curse of Strahd actually only focuses in on a small place within the domains of Dread. And there's actually a bunch of other domains.
Mm-hmm.
And from the synopsis, it looks like they're going to be looking into all different kinds of horror, not just Gothic horror. There's one where it's a jungle where the terror guy or the lord of that domain is a hunter hunting people who show up in his jungle, which is kind of a cool Jumanji.
I gathered that because I know Ravenloft isn't just a 5e thing. I just feel to be completely neutral to our listeners, I have to ask the questions they'd maybe ask and be like, what's the difference here? It's good to give that kind of blank outlook into it sometimes, because I know Ravenloft is old as fuck.
Ravenloft came out with Advanced Dungeons and Dragons in 1983, man. So it's fully older than me plus Ali together, which is fucking wild.
Makes a 5-year-old child.
Exactly.
The painfully went through an aging spell.
Painfully young. It hurts my bones to live. But we're getting, like Harry said, multiple domains. So we get, I think, up to 30, but not only that.
Wow, this is really making my DM just salivate, man.
But it's a full horror-based source book. I mean, we're talking about real horror shit, and I love that. I love scaring the shit out of people. I ran a Halloween one-shot with Harry, had a lot of fun with that, and in that one-shot, I actually, one of my players was a College of Spirits bard, which is one of the new classes, along with the Patron of the Undead Warlock.
Nice!
Or Patron of the Undying.
That's actually a question I had. I know how you said that they're moving away from newer races like they've done with the last couple expansions, and they're moving into these bloodlines. Are we getting any new subclasses with this?
We're getting
also just want to. I don't want to tangent off here. This could be something to talk about in a different video, but I really think the wizards need to make a new class, because the classes are getting fucking boring, man. And I'm saying this as a player who plays a lot of D&D. They need to get some new classes made, man. Not just subclasses, but that's a different topic. So what subclasses are we getting, and how many are we getting, Kingsley?
So we are getting 2 brand new subclasses. And those subclasses are, like I said, the College of Spirits Bards, and
just 2? Okay.
College of Spirits Bard and the Pact of the Undying Warlock.
That's a little bit
it's weird,
saddening.
Right?
No, correct me if I'm wrong. Actually, does it inform me how many subclasses did we get with Eberron? Because I know we got 3 new subclasses with Explorer's Guide to Wildmount. How many did we get with Eberron? I know we got an Artificer 1. I feel like we got Soul Knife as well, or am I misremembering that?
Soul Knife we got with Tasha's.
So what? Oh, there you go. Tasha's brought a lot of new ones in. How many did we get with Eberron? Because this might be this may be the lowest amount of subclasses we got, but I guess you'd also make the argument that with these bloodlines, that is where you're getting a bit more bang for your buck, opposed to just getting some new subclasses. With this one, yeah, you're only getting 2, but now you're getting multiple bloodlines. Maybe that's what they're doing.
So if we're talking about like exploring Eberron, it's exploring Eberron isn't actually official. Exploring Eberron is made by the guy who made the original Eberron, and Eberron was originally made. A little bit of lore here for you. Eberron was originally made because Wizards had a competition to see who could make a new setting for them. And the guy who won it is, give me 2 seconds. This feels really bad. I believe it's Keith Davies, but I'm just going to double check that.
It's Keith Baker.
Keith Baker, thank you very much. Keith Baker.
Keith Davis is a pretty awesome actor.
Yep, nailed it. So Keith Baker continues to come out with Eberron content, which I fucking love, dude. I love Eberron.
And you can get that on DM's Guild, which has a sale going on right now.
You can.
Get on it.
Get on it. Right now, we mean today because it's DM's Day as we record this. So
yeah,
I'd like
right.
Yeah, so by the time this video comes out, the sale will be gone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
happy
okay.
DM's Day, my boys. I enjoy.
Happy DM's Day to you both wonderful DMs. And to all the DMs listening, happy DM's Day to all of you.
Happy DM's Day. By the time you hear this, it won't be DM's Day anymore. But retroactively, pat yourself on the back.
Yeah, come on. Are you talking about Eberron or are you talking about Tasha's? Because with
I'm
Eberron,
talking about both, because Eberron, the King's D&D Beyond, we got a couple subclasses there, and with
Eberron,
we got a couple subclasses.
Eberron, we got, we actually got the
6.
whole Artificer class, and then 3 subclasses for that. We got
I'm
Dragon Mark.
I'm thinking of the new Artificer subclass we got with Tasha's. That's my bad.
Cool.
That's my bad there. Plus, I'm saying though, like we got that whole class and all the subclasses that go with it. With Wildmount, we got the Dunamancy, the 2 subclasses for Wizard, the Gravity Mage, and the Chronoturgy Mage. And we got Echo Knights. And with Tasha's, we got a bunch of other subclasses. Yeah. With this one, we're only getting 2.
It's super
but
light.
to play Devil's Advocate, yeah, we're only getting 2 subclasses, but we are getting a whole new Bloodline feature. So maybe that's kind of where their time went.
And Dark Gifts.
It balances itself out in that way. It gives us all of these domains to play with, which don't even have to be connected to the Forgotten Realm or any kind of official content. They can be anywhere. We're also getting, like we said, the 2 new subclasses. Like Harry said, we're getting the Dark Gifts, we're getting the Gothic Lineages, and we're getting the tools to create horror stories, which a lot of people already do in D&D, but it's helpful to have some official content that helps.
I think this is going to go a long way because you get people that take the rules of D&D and make it their own thing. Harry, you do that with your Ravnica game. Kingsley, you do that with your Dark Matter game. And I'll be doing that soon with a project I'm working on in secret, and with Fates Entwined. But yeah, so I think it's going to go a long way because you got a lot of people that do love the Gothic era. They love vampires, they love zombies, they love all that shit. So it's not to even say there's a small clique out there. There's a huge clique out there for people that love that stuff. And it's kind of good to see that Vampire the Masquerade isn't really your only way now to play this type of Gothic stuff. You could now fully on do a D&D game like Vampire, but with this new rule set. And even better, it's in Ravenloft. Or, if you want to make it your own thing, you can do it not in Ravenloft. But I think it is much needed to give fans of that genre some love. I think it's great to see. Us fantasy boys have been getting spoiled recently with Wizards. Even Explorer's Guide was amazing. Everyone, all these things were great, and it's nice to see the kind of Gothic kind of community of loving that genre to get some much needed support in this new module that is coming out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean we're also getting, which is a blessing for all of those DMs out there. As we've discussed, this is a rampant issue where your players don't mean to meta, but because they DM or they've been playing for a long amount of years, they know the monster manual inside out. So of course, with this horror source book, of course we're getting a brand new assortment of creepy monsters and we sleek it timorous beasties.
Beasties.
Yeah, that's a bit of Scottish brogue for some of you listeners. We slick it timorous beastie. That's the start of our Robbie Burns poem, where's the word was him, Robert Burns.
Which is ode to a mouse, which Of Mice and Men comes from. There you go, a little bit of real life lore, baby.
You get
boom,
fantasy
learn
real life lore with us. I think this is great, and the thing is, I just wish I had more time on my hands, because with this new campaign that I'm working on, I would actually love to just completely do a really dark-esque campaign, really limit the classes as well, make it like only Blood Hunter, Death, and Grave Clerics, like kind of limit like 2 per class and have this really gritty kind of darker Van Helsing kind of Resident Evil hybrid campaign. I think it could be really fun. Or maybe that's something we'll visit on this show, because I'll always have time to do stuff for this media company us three have started together, and maybe that's something I will bring up to you guys. Is maybe doing a horror themed campaign.
I would love to.
Very cool.
But it's exciting, the content that Wizards are coming out with. I mean, on March 16th we've got Candlekeep Mysteries, and then isn't
that made by the wonderful and hilarious what's her name? She's done a lot of Dimension 20 stuff, or sorry, a lot of College Humor. She's a fantastic
Amy Vorpal?
woman. Amy Vorpal.
Yeah,
love
Amy
her.
Vorpal is included in that.
She is an hilarious woman, just from like her humor and her sketches, and D&D wise, great player. I loved her in Escape from the Bloodkeep, and I always love watching her on the news for College Humor's little sketch thing, because she's always just laughing her ass off.
Fantastic.
Very, very good.
And I have to say, like, I don't know many celebrities or people in our space that know as much about D&D as Matt Mercer, and that's not because I'm uneducated. If you actually watch him in interviews and stuff, he's hella knowledgeable. And actually, she was going word for word with him and point for point. She is a very educated woman on the D&D stuff.
Yeah,
or a very educated person.
It's global DMs Day, so it gives some love to your favorite DMs. People out there,
give something to your favorite DMs. It doesn't have to be the Matt Mercers out there.
No.
It doesn't have to be the Brennan Lee Mulligans. It can be your DM at your table, but also to those famous DMs. Also, happy DMs Day to you. You're probably not listening to this, but you're all.
Thank you for being such inspirations.
Yes,
thank you for being there. Thank you for being there.
Such inspirations.
But yeah, just wrapping up my little D&D spiel for the day before we dive into everything else.
I do have a question for you though, and this is out of my curiosity. See, in this Ravenloft book, is there any mention of Strahd and Strahd's bloodline?
Well, I believe Strahd is a Dark Lord, so they will obviously talk about Strahd. I might be tripping, but I believe it's Strahd on the front cover.
I need to look up the front cover because I can't remember. Is the guide just called Ravenloft?
It's called Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft.
I love the name of that, because you have Explorer's Guide to Wildman, this Guide to Everloft, but I love that is very awesome.
So I think it is Strahd on the cover.
Yeah,
I think we're making a stat block for him.
It's Strahd. It's either Strahd or it's Rudolf Van Richten, who is the monster scholar.
I mean, he does look a lot like Strahd though.
Yeah.
I'm just curious because I want to know like how it goes into with like vampires and stuff. It's just I love vampires, I really do.
Yeah,
and I'm looking forward to sitting down and reading this.
We obviously haven't gone super deep into the stuff, but the new the Dampier stuff for the actual Gothic lineage is insanely cool. I mean, either you can heal yourself, you do 1d4 damage on a natural bite. So either you heal yourself for a certain amount, or you can give yourself advantage on your next attack when you've done a bite.
That's
it's
really
very
cool.
stuff.
I have wanted to play a vampire in D&D for a while, and I actually I can post my Google Doc notes of like homebrew kind of like I guess that's what it's called, a bloodline, because it wasn't a race, it was a bloodline I was working on for a vampire. But now seeing that Wizards themselves are making that, I'm just going to stop working on that and have a look at theirs, because I've actually played a vampire in D&D for a really long time, because I think the idea is going to be really fun, and hiding that from the party as well would be really fun.
Yeah, well, absolutely. The fun thing as well is the Dampiers in the table, because every new Gothic lineage, like I said, I was wrong earlier when I said that the Dampier don't have a D8 table. They do, and that's for Dampier hungers. So it's not just blood. I mean, they can have hungers for whatever. One of these here is flesh or raw meat. Another is a color from one's appearance. There's a range of hungers, but also a range of origins and stuff like that.
Oh man, I really want to play in a campaign like this.
I mean,
it sounds really fun.
At 3rd level, you get fucking spider climb. In addition to having 35 movement speed, you get spider climb.
Out of curiosity, what are the drawbacks? Is it silvered weapons, radiant weapons, sunlight? What is there? I know the module isn't out yet, and when it does come out, we will do a full deep dive into it.
We absolutely will.
We will either do for you guys and gals. We'll either do an essay type of review, we'll post it on, we're actually working on getting essays out for just articles and stuff, we'll either do a version like that, or we'll do just an episode, not even a podcast, we'll release a spur of the moment episode, about it. But is there? Do they go? Obviously, because I know you're very limited because it's not out yet. So it's fine if you can't answer it. But do they mention drawbacks like silvered weapons, radiant magic, radiant damage, sunlight, anything like that?
So, not as much like that, but obviously there are the hungers, and that hunger is a good tool for your DM to be like,
that
okay,
could easily be a big weakness.
you need to make me a Constitution saving throw or a Wisdom saving throw, or you are about to dive into the neck of your friend.
The thing is,
that.
And we have kind of something like that with one of the Blood Hunter classes, Order of the Lycan. If you take damage, you make a Wisdom save, and if don't, you transform into your werewolf and attack the closest target to you.
Yeah.
I am really looking forward to it. One, DMing someone or a party of this, or to play in this. This hunger table is something I'm really vibing with, and I like fun drawbacks like that to a character. And I'm very much looking forward to playing that character.
I should stipulate that these are UA, and usually, as we've seen with Circle of Spores, UA changes. It obviously gets weakened or it gets balanced in a proper way.
Most
but not only that, Ravenloft says in its product overview, it says that you get to discover a host of new backgrounds and trinkets themed specifically for a horror setting, as well as new character lineages, including the Dampier, Hexblood, and Reborn. So that doesn't mean that we're only getting the Dampier, Hexblood, and Reborn. That means there is the potential of us having other lineages.
Yeah. Before we move on to other topics, just a little spitfire. Harry and Kingsley, is there any lineages you'd like to see off the top of your head, either from
Lycanthrope?
That's a good one actually. Anything from Gothic culture, or even just something that's not stereotypical, and you would just like to see it, like lycanthropy, whatever.
Lycanthropy,
that. Lycanthropy would be badass because and the thing is, I wouldn't be surprised because if you look at Wizard stuff right now, we kind of have a little bit of that. We have Order of the Lycan for the Blood Hunter. Now that's a Matt Mercer made thing, but it was canalized with Explorers Guide to Wildmount. But we also have, I think it's called Path of Ancestry. There is a barbarian one that lets you pick wild boar, like all the wild ones.
Yeah.
Were, and you can werewolf in that. So we have seen sprinkles of this in the past. So I would not be surprised. Also, how can you have fucking vampires without werewolves, man? Come on, they go hand in hand. They go hand in hand like Jack Daniels and Coke, man. You gotta have it together.
The crazy thing about lycanthropy within D&D is that the only playable lycanthropic content we have is from non-canonical sources. So, I mean, we're talking not Explorer's Guide, we're talking Return from the Last War, Rising from the Last War, Eberron. We got Shifters, who are descendants of lycanthropes. And from Explorer's Guide to Wildmount, we got the Blood Hunters. Sorry, not Explorer's Guide.
What one gave us I think I'm going to open D&D Beyond right now. I think I might be remembering it wrong because it's one of the barbarian class. I think it's called Path of Ancestry. I'm on it right now.
Path of Ancestry, I think, is the one where you get Ancestral Guardians, where it's almost like Guardians.
What one is it I'm thinking of then? Wait, it might be Primal Paths.
Path of the Beast?
Path of the Beast. Yes, this is Path of the Beast. You inherit, so Path of the Beast lets you.
It's an ancient animal spirit dwells within you, allowing you to walk this path, or one of your parents is a lycanthrope and you've inherited some of their curse. So
I wonder what set that came out with because that has
that was Tasha's.
That was Tasha's. Okay, they've changed it then because when I looked at it when it was UA, you got to pick from were-rat, were-boar, werewolf, all the were stuff on the monster manual. So they have changed that then because you literally on the table, it said you roll on this table. If I played, I would ask at the end to say, look, can I avoid the roll and just pick one, please? I don't want to be a were-rat.
Yeah.
But before it was a table you rolled on, I think it was a D4 or a D6. And you got to be one of the were things. And it worked like the shifter where it was an action to form shift into that form.
So for Form of the Beast, for Path of the Beast, at level 3 you get to choose whether you get a bestial muzzle, like your mouth becomes a weapon, your claws become your weapon, or your tail becomes a weapon. And then at 10th level, you actually become infectious. So you can infect people around you and cause them to go rabid, which is wild. It's really cool to see this kind of lycanthropic content. My brain just went blank there, but I've always been a big fan of werewolves. I just think they're insanely fucking cool.
Same. I actually have I've been working on something for a while now. This is how to introduce it at the right time for my campaign, like fighting a werewolf, saves to contract lycanthropy, stuff like that. I think it is much needed for D&D because everyone loves werewolves, man. So I would be very shocked if we did not get it in this Ravenloft module, not module, sorry, source book. I'd be very surprised because how can you go to Ravenloft and not have werewolves? And even more so, how can you introduce all these bloodlines and vampires and again not have werewolves? Again, like I said, vampires and werewolves are two sides of the same fucked up coin, man.
But what about you? What about you, Harry? What are you kind of looking forward to seeing as a Gothic lineage?
So, going down the list, right? We've got all the classic Gothic stuff. We got vampires, werewolves we've already touched on, witches, Frankensteins, which is what I'm calling them.
Oh, that would be fucking awesome, man.
Well, I mean, Reborn is basically a Frankenstein's monster.
If you look at the origin table, the DA origin table for the Reborn, number 2 is literally you are a mishmash of different body parts.
Literally Frankenstein.
Yeah, Frankenstein's monster. So my contribution, I think, I would love for there to be something ghost related. I know we have the haunted one background, but I would love to have a lineage that accurately represents either being haunted by a ghost or having ghost-like abilities.
Well, that would be
or even being a ghost.
Because the haunted one from Wildmount doesn't make you a ghost. You do ping for the detect undead spell, but you're physical. I actually agree with Harry in that. Like Vampire Masquerade, I would like to see like a wraith type of ghost class. Or not ghost class, sorry, bloodline. Where obviously I know it's D&D and you have to have physicalness, but either make it like with most things as an action as a shifter you can shift. But cool if as an action you can become ethereal or something like that. I would be cool to see like a wraith bloodline. I think it'd be really fucking badass.
Someone with like a connection to the undeath, someone who had like a near-death experience, someone who is haunted by a ghost. It doesn't have to have a specific like flavor context that is like.
I don't know why you're saying that. Harry reminded me of the new legendary creature we got from Call Time, Tigrid, because her lore is she is literally haunted by her shadow.
Yeah, yeah, or Danny Phantom.
I was thank you. I was literally about to say, Ali thought of that, and I went to Danny Phantom. Like
but Danny Phantom isn't haunted by a ghost. That's the difference. He's not haunted by anything. He is
Danny Phantom.
But that's what we're saying.
No, like, he is a ghost,
half person.
God, man, Danny Phantom was my shit growing up.
The context and flavor doesn't necessarily need to be set in stone. Like it's like, oh, this is a lineage where you're haunted by a ghost or you're half ghost. Just like a ghost themed lineage, that would be super sick. This may be more of a background, but I would love to have it be have like a more mechanical aspect in the making of a character, but like somebody who is a paranormal hunter. Like I know we have blood hunter as a class, but like a lineage of someone who specifically is a monster hunter, thinking like Hansel and Gretel style,
like a Helsing type.
Okay, so like Harry, what would you do then to differentiate that from Blood Hunter? Because Blood Hunter, that is the whole class of shtick. If you read the class description, Blood Hunters hunt out the things that go bump in the night. So what would you do? Well, would you give them proficiency in like piercing weapons? Like
make them more scholar. That's what I would do. Just make them
like
less
a scribe,
like
resistant to necrotic damage, stuff like that.
This is
lean a slightly more into like the researcher aspect rather than like I'm going out and fighting monsters. It's like
okay, so like scholar for wizards bought 4 hours. That would be fucking awesome. To have
like a Van Helsing type, literally like how he is in the book. Yeah,
like Giles from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Exactly,
yeah.
Dude.
That would be awesome. And if they don't make that, if that isn't in Ravenloft, with our 3 heads together to form a few heads short of a Hydra, we will make that and put that out publicly because that would be fucking badass. Homebrew feat. We can definitely make that if they don't.
I would love to see like a lineage that is the chosen one, and whether that is you can have 2 kind of ones where it's like the chosen one accepted and the chosen one rejected. So it's one where it's very much dealing with this, like, you're getting prophetic dreams and you've embraced the life of being a monster hunter, and the rejected is you are haunted by the prophetic visions and constantly running away from the responsibility.
You saying Chosen One, my brain went in a different aspect. Now, I fucking love what you're putting down.
Like a Survivor type.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. I love that.
100.
But where my mind went with that was the Chosen One. Yeah, if you pick this, you can take 2 bloodlines, and you are the first working hybrid.
Ooh,
that'd be
another
like,
one.
What was the vampire one called, Kingsley? What was it?
Dampier.
Dampier. Say, just for example, Dampier and Lycanthrope, or Dampier and Hexblood. Chosen One. Yeah, you'll probably, maybe to balance it, you take double the drawbacks. But imagine that to be like the Chosen One, and that is, you're the first of both. I think that'd be kind of fun to play with as well.
Yeah, I mean, even taking some stuff from the it's a completely different TTRPG altogether. But Monster of the Week on the Powered by the Apocalypse kind of it's the Powered by the Apocalypse game rules. A lot of those classes there are very cool and would fit quite well. So like there's people like the Mundane, who just has no kind of ability whatsoever in any kind of magic or any supernatural thing, and it's just like, in these dark domains we're bound to see people who are not spellcasters, are not fighters, and just live and have to live in this horrifying world.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's some very cool shit to think about.
Just to before we move on,
cap it off.
I want to drop one last thing in. We've got Frankenstein's monster. What about a fucking mad scientist lineage, right?
Like,
wouldn't that be
like an artificer subclass?
The mad artificer.
Oh, that would be
dude, an artificer subclass that pulls a little bit from a grave cleeric.
Yeah, I'm literally just thinking artificer, flesh sculptor. It's a horrible name, but it's like
yeah. Pull a little bit from the grave domain, pull a little bit from the necromancy and the wizard subclass. Fuck yeah, man! I'd be down.
I mean, I say this as someone who loves mad scientists and has like notoriously played a mad scientist in the past.
If
like,
you guys
love it.
If you guys can get this video to 100 likes, we will have Harry cosplay as Ludwig from Ravnica, the Izig mad scientist.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so sick.
Or alternatively, I'll release a homebrew flesh sculptor subclass. You know, it's up to you.
Oh, you love to see it. Let's find out both.
Been doing a lot of D&D Beyond work.
Me and Kingsley have been going crazy the last week, making a bunch of subclasses.
Mm-hmm.
It's been very fun.
So
and I guess we can have this completely edited out. But I guess we could touch on just a little bit. This won't be for a long ass fucking time, everybody, because we are very busy. It might seem like we just do one video every 2 weeks, but we're moving into a pretty big upload schedule. I'll quickly touch on it here because not all of you see our Facebook page. The podcast is moving to bi-weekly, so every second Monday you'll get to hear us coming and talking to your ears. Wednesday will be Reflavor Town, a show hosted by Harry that is mainly Harry and Kingsley, and occasionally me and Harry. Or Harry and I. It is reflavoring monsters you know from the monster manual and making them something completely different. We actually touched upon it a little bit. I think 4 episodes ago we done it as an ending segment. Thursdays are forever going to be our live streams. It'll either be all 3 of us or just 2 of us because life gets busy sometimes. And Fridays will be our Friday Fight Nights, our Magic the Gathering segment where we fight for a title known as Champion of the Source. Will we play Commander or Brawl? And then Sundays will be our gameplay series. Currently it is Valheim. Once we feel we have beaten Valheim, we will move on to a different game. Same thing there, beat the game and then move on to another. But that aside, we are working on a lot of things right now. Merch, editors, hiring, stuff like that. We are very busy. But we will eventually, and Harry's going to be a little bit caught off guard with this, but we spoke on it very loosely, me and Kingsley have, and Harry, and we will hoping to, maybe by the end of the year, maybe the start of 2022, we are hoping to release the Saving Throws module, where our source book, where it's going to be all of our wacky homebrewed stuff, all compiled into one lovely book for you all. Doubt it'll be paperback, that might change, it'll probably be an online PDF, but we are actually working on, because we are all have some crazy batshit ideas for D&D.
Wild shit.
And it probably wouldn't be a theme like Ravenloft or, Emperor. It's probably going to be a mishmash of all of our creative juices put together to really form our own version of Frankenstein's monster with all our creative ideas. But keep posted for that. It will not be soon. It could literally be end of the year or even the end of next year. But we are working on a version of our own source book with all of our crazy D&D ideas put together.
It's a wild time. This can fully be cut out, but my brain fully just screamed at me and was like, "Everyone's talking about mommy milkers. What about daddy dickers?" Anyway.
Oh, Jesus fucking
God.
Christ!
Yes,
Our lovely editor
sir.
Socorno, please put some weird reaction image. I think you have our chibbies. Please just have that up when Kingsley says that horrible sentence.
Left field
Mommy
shit.
milkers and
What about daddy?
cleaners.
Okay, why don't we move on to the next topic? Shall we cover, Harry, what you were looking into or what I was looking into?
Yeah, of course.
Ooh, a little bit of magic in the air. A little bit of magic in the air.
Guys, you know there's fucking magic everywhere in this bitch. You know what it is. But
Tell us
like
about this bitch.
for real, so much magic stuff has come out, but I'm only gonna focus on the new set, Stryxhaven, which is like the school of mages, like slightly. I'm not even gonna say it is the Harry Potter set because it's actually they've done a really good job of not making it just the Harry Potter set.
I know there's a lot of Harry Potter fans out there. I grew up with them. Some of my best friends. It's making this sound like racism. Some of my best friends are Harry Potter fans. But seriously, they are. Like, one of my closest friends back in Scotland, a girl called Erin, she lives and breathes Harry Potter. And even my soon-to-be sister-in-law, super into Harry Potter. I'm not even a little bit, mainly because I despise J.K. Rowling, but
yeah,
it's also because some of the writing is straight up lazy, and I'm very happy that Wizards, because everyone was like, this is going to be Harry Potter and magic, and they have done enough where it's just a badass magic school, and I'm very thankful for that.
I mean, look, we don't talk about the fact that J.K. Rowling tried to make it lore that wizards shit on the floor and then just teleport that stuff away.
Oh man,
but
dream,
also,
bro.
I'm not a massive Harry Potter fan either, and I just have to straight up apologize to one of my best friends, Audio Lord Jay, who is fully editing this and listening to it, and is probably going to message me right about now saying, "Shut the fuck up."
This is where he just voids the rest of the audio in the next, like, I don't know, half an hour or hour that is left is just dead air.
Insanely meta to me. Insanely meta, because I know he's going to listen to it and message me and be like, "You're a piece of shit." But let's talk about Stryxhaven.
It's a good thing that Jay is not our visual editor. This is where we find out that also our brand new video editor. Also, as a quick little shout out to you, thank you, Zacorno, for the work you were doing, my friend.
Oh, love you.
Love you, buddy.
So sick.
So this is where we find out he's also a massive Potterhead, and if you are, feel free to add in whatever you want that won't get us cancelled on YouTube. But yeah, if you're a Harry Potterhead, Zacorno, feel free to do some video magic. If not, that's fine.
Yeah, feel free to censor everything we're about to say.
Just
like one long But okay, into Stryxhaven, right? So this is something that is so interesting to me. We're kind of going back to that like faction set kind of vibe that you get from Ravnica, from like early Ravnica, where they really want the players to identify with these organizations. Which I think is so fun.
It is, so we haven't seen this in so long. I'm a little bit bummed it's not 3 colours. I was really hoping to get some maybe not dual colours, but it is, I have to agree with Harry here, it's badass to see we're getting things like the Izzet Guild, the Golgari, the Simic. I'm so happy we're getting new versions of this. I'm very happy.
We're not Golgari anymore, honey. We're Witherbloom Witch.
And what a great name, bro. Witherbloom. Like, the thing is, we actually speculated, not on the podcast, but if you go to our Facebook page, we did speculate when we heard Witherbloom, probably Golgari. And people are probably listening going, well, what else could it fucking be? But hats off to us, because we guessed that. And I love that Witherbloom is Golgari. What a great name for Golgari, and I say magic cause I mean, like, you know, wizardry. I love that name so much.
Absolutely. And it's like, you love to see, so like, I think it's so interesting to me because when you talk about color theory, when you talk about these color pairs, a lot of people point at the Ravnican guilds as the like epitome of what like 2 color pairs represent for those 2 colors. But you see in the characterization of these new colleges so many of them are so different. Like,
The thing is, we are guilty
new
of that
take.
as well. Remember, I think 2 episodes, maybe 3 ago, we done this dissecting the color pipe. We done it for dual colors. We also touched on what colors we thought we were personally. So yeah, we said that these colors are this, and this is why Ravnica works so well. We said it ourselves, and Harry is just hitting on every fucking beat that's correct right now.
Absolutely. Do we want to go through those 5 colleges?
Hell yeah,
I mean,
we have to.
absolutely.
We fucking have to,
Because-
man. We would be doing ourselves a disservice, and all one of our listeners a disservice.
I think it's important
Yeah.
to mention that not every color combo from Ravnica will be in here. You know,
Enemy
for
colors,
instance,
yeah.
there is no Rakdos kind of stuff. So if that hurts your feelings, then step back.
we really are getting villain colors with this set. Or sorry, what used to be enemy colors. It's crazy that the way they call them enemy colors is crazy because you think Rakdos would be enemy colors, but yes, this is an enemy color set. But who knows? Maybe after this set, they won't be called enemy colors. Maybe this will probably be called house colors. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
So, fun fact about why they're called enemy colors. If you did not know, the reason they're called enemy colors is because the 2 colors in the pair directly diametrically oppose each other on the color pie.
I never knew that, and I probably know more magic lore than most people, and holy shit, that's fucking awesome.
Right? It's sick. And that's why the other colors are called allied pairs, because they're a color and a pair that is right next to them on the color pie.
Wizards,
They share
Wizards,
similar.
I love you. Just you guys get a lot of shit for trying to break the glass ceiling, and I just want to say, Wizards, I love you. That's fucking badass. That's so fucking
Ah,
cool.
fucking sick.
So
fucking
sick.
awesome.
So, let's just start on our wonderful little Strixhaven roadmap right now. So
Which
the
we will post to Sarkono. We'll edit this out. We'll post to Sarkono the colors for this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right here.
Right now. The first college is Lorehold, which is our red-white guild, traditionally Boros.
I love that name.
So sick. Their motto is "Leave no stone unturned."
Oh
This
man,
is
that's just so
so
fun.
sick.
It's so fun. Like, it's just, I love that card game, a fucking cardboard game where you just sling expensive or cheap cardboard at one another. It's such a great job they've done with this set. We've only got into the first color, but you can hear how me and Harry and I are. Like, Lorehold, great fucking name, but their motto, "Leave no stone unturned," that right there tells you what the fuck they're about if the name didn't. And that is great writing.
Here's the crazy fucking thing. Lorehold is the most vanilla name in there, Harry. You get through that list and I will scream when you get
Yeah, dude. But so, like, the thing that I love about Lorehold, right, is they're so different from Boros. So, like, their whole thing is they're, like, archaeological expeditions, historical exploration. Like, they're all about restoring the past, like, keeping the past alive, research, knowledge, which is such an interesting sort of flavor for red-white, like, preserving the past as a community emotion. It's so sick.
It's crazy when you think about it, because when you think about Boros are the type of people that push you into the ground, like, nerd, and shove you into the dirt. That's what the Boros Legion fucking is. You like books? Fuck off, we'll shove you in the ground. And it's awesome to see the new version of Boros that are fucking nerds.
Yeah, and it's like, and they're nerds, and still somehow they're jocks, right?
There's-
like in the grand.
Yeah, there's this insane image that is like, I think one of the Lorehold images where this woman is wielding a scroll like a fucking minigun.
Oh, yeah, no, give me a second. I will also put this
Well,
picture.
don't worry about it. It's up
Kingsley,
on the screen right now.
Yeah, make sure you give that image, because I think that is the art for the Fat Packs, or the pre-release kits. We also
the command, I think.
We also shared that on our Facebook page. We give you all the magic info when you need it. But yeah, it's literally a scroll minigun.
Oh,
it's so
sick.
dumb, but I love it.
They're
A
like,
scroll
so they're like
minigun.
the Indiana Jones kind of Lara Croft kind of stuff. So sick. And you really love to see the return of Loxodon. I mean, Loxodon's such a sick race.
Harry,
so
you
awesome.
saying that, we better have a board wipe called "That Belongs in the Museum," and it just destroys destroy all artifacts. Please print a Boros board wipe for artifacts. It just says "That belongs in the museum," and it destroys all artifacts on the board.
Or it's just called Reclaim.
or exiles them until the enchantment goes away. So it's like you're holding them in a museum or
that
whatever.
belongs in a museum. That'd be so fucking great, man.
So
Wizards hire us, Wizards.
Oh, so fun. I mean, okay, I'm not even a lore hold guy, and I'm so hyped to see what they do with that.
No, dude, same, totally same. I
absolutely
can't agree with you more, Harry. I can't, honestly.
Yeah. So in the grand scheme of things, Lorehold, they're nerds, but they're also kind of the jocks. Moving on to the next college, who is my personal favorite college out of all these, the Prismari, who are the blue-red theater kids of Stryxhaven. They like control
kids of Stryxhaven.
Yeah, they control the elements of fire and water.
That's so
and they,
funny.
Like,
the theater kids, that's fucking amazing. I can't go for that.
Yeah, they like use magic to like make performances and like do like shows and creativity, and they're less about what is it stand for, which is like creation and invention through like knowledge. These guys are all about like they're in their feelings, bro. They're like, fucking in their fucking
feelings are
feeling. Yeah, they do slam
cool.
poetry on Friday night. Like,
was I the only one who was a little bit surprised? Because I know you're not really well versed in the colors, but even just the wording. I thought with what their house was called, I thought it was going to be 4 or 5 color. It's so weird. There's 2 colors. You know, prismatic.
Yeah, I know.
Like so many cards we've seen, like prismatic orb, and a few other prismatic cards are usually 5 color things. It was really weird to have a house be called prismatic and it to be a dual color, not 5. You know, it was weird.
But I think when you break down like what like a fucking prism, right? A prism is basically like put light into something, the prism will split that light up. It is the expression through a whole range. So I think that's why they're Prismari, because they show a whole range. Through the elements and through raw creativity and like meticulous.
So is their symbol just the dark side of the moon album art?
No, it isn't. It's not. And
it's a vinyl and a cup of coffee and a quartet. Their motto is express yourself with the elements, which is not as catchy as leave no stone unturned, but it definitely gets the point across.
Yeah, they're 100% the other theater kids with that with that motto. They are fucking theater kids.
Absolutely. Another fun fact that people might not have seen, we see a lot of Azra on in Prismari, in the art for Prismari, which if you don't know is the Magic the Gathering safe version of like tieflings. We originally saw them in Battle Bond, like a bunch of them in Battle Bond, and now we're seeing them again in Stryxhaven, which is so sick. You love to see it.
You do.
I want to see them come back because I love my fucking tieflings. I love my boys. Bring them back.
Bring them back.
They went. Bring them back from the very, very relevant corner of the tabletop role-playing game community. But no, yeah, Prismari, so cool. I love them. They're like such an interesting inversion of Izzet, where like Izzet is blue ideals found in a very red way. It's red ideals found in a very blue way, where it's like performance and creativity, which is an amazing side of red that you don't actually get to see very often while people are busy throwing fireballs at each other. Like, it's the perfect kind of emotional side of red that you don't get to see very often. Like the positive, I'm like the self almost, bringing that forward. And I'm a big slut for color pie theory. What can I say? I love it. I love thinking about it. I love eating color pie. It's delicious. It's so good, nutritious. But like, it's just, Stryxhaven has done this really interesting thing with the color pairs, where in Ravnica, it's about how those colors interact. In Stryxhaven, I feel it's about how those colors conflict with each other. And like, where are the differences in those 2 colors that are the enemy pairs? They're like diametrically opposed. Like, where does that lead us when we have these 2 colors that are so different from each other? How does that find its way through, you know? Very cool. Absolutely.
Love like the art as well for like, I mean, the lore hold symbol, insanely cool. The Prismari is just so nice and fresh. But I just, obviously, your boys green black through and through, and that icon, that symbol is just gorgeous. It's just fucking gorgeous.
So gorgeous.
Fucking gorgeous. Fucking porgers.
With that segue, we'll move on to Witherbloom,
please,
Kingsley's favorite college. I can tell he's a little Golgari boy for life, if you had not heard. And their motto is "Get your hands dirty." and they're like that's so sick. Go looking for frogs. Go looking for fucking beetles and frogs, bro. And they are the goth biomages.
Yep. It's crazy. Like the description is like they're most at home riding zombie crocs, picking herbs for potions, and hanging out in their swamp making grim jokes. Like that's some like we know about Scene Kids Alley more than most, but like
fuck you use my past against me.
but like this is some goth shit. Like I'm imagining these Witherbloom mages rocking around in a dirty ass swamp, the middle of Florida, drinking their Rockstar energy drink, listening to fucking Slipknot while one of them cries to fucking I don't know. All of my pop punk knowledge just disappeared out the back of my brain.
My kid.
Crying to music.
Yeah.
Eyeshadow.
Yeah, Sleeping with Sirens. They're crying to Sleeping with Sirens, like trying to bring back their favorite pet.
It's just the goth kids from South Park and MTG.
Yeah. Well,
the crossover
each of these colleges. Each of the colleges is a clique, right? Like Lorehold, they're nerds, but they're definitely like the adventurer jocks. Then you've got the theater kids in Prismari. You've got the goths in Witherbloom. Like it's so perfect.
Which is so funny that Orzhov isn't the goths. How rare is that? How rare?
Yeah, they're the shitty nepotism prep kids with rich parents.
But these are like fuck. These are like in my head. These guys are like edgy druids. They're just really edgy druids.
Edgy. Well, they are very similar to Golgari. I will say, of the colleges, these guys are the most similar to Golgari, but kind of more in the direction of green rather than black.
Super.
But like, still very somewhat similar aesthetically, but you still love to see it, because the Golgari are sick. The most underrated guild in Ravnica. They're the most important. They make so much food for the population. And people always get down on them because all they do is hire a bunch of hitmen and assassins. I mean, come on. Who's not hiring a bunch of assassins on Ravnica? I mean, come on. But anyways,
talk about it.
Vinny, we gotta hire an assassin in Ravnica. What are you talking about?
Forget about it.
One of those cool little colleges out there.
Yeah, fucking Golgari.
We are three colleges out of 5. So shall we?
Let's move on. Let's move on to the next college, Quandrix, who are the like blue-green kind of college, kind of edging more towards the blue rather than the green, but like still very, very much there. They're all about like wielding the powers of arithmetic and like diligent sort of in experimentation and like logic patterns,
which they really could have made. They really could have made Prism that, because that is it through and through. But you want
absolutely
you see they've worked to make them different but the same, and that could have easily been as it, because that is basically as his motto.
Absolutely. Yeah. These guys are really interesting because you look at Simic and they're like very, very biological, which is like the green and blue playing together. These guys play in a kind of physicist, almost like theoretical math, theoretical magic and sciences. Still coming from that like a very similar place of like scientific curiosity. But they are utilizing like spellcasting that almost seems a little like sci-fi-y, like toying with like the physics of the universe, you know, time, space, pattern, geometry, literally gravity, like all of these natural things, which is where that green comes from, these natural forces that exist in reality, playing with them. So interesting. You'd love to see that kind of stuff.
You do.
So cool. If I wasn't Prismari, I'd be Quandrix.
Yeah.
And yeah, go ahead.
They're just big fucking nerds, you know?
Yeah, they're big fucking nerds.
They're just fucking big nerds. And I love it. It like the whole thing is like they'll solve a Rubik's Cube while contemplating the metaphysical properties of the universe, and they can recite every number of pi backwards. It's a fucking infinite number. Chill.
Yeah,
like
bro, chill out.
And their words, their house words are math is magic. Which is that's some nerd shit that I love.
That's some fucking so right there.
Math is magic.
Leave no stone unturned. Math is magic.
I have the power of math and magic on my side.
Bro, I swear, if someone calls someone else cringe in the fucking Magic store, I'll fucking die. No, yeah. So like Quandrix, I love Quandrix just because of how interesting and different they are from the Simic. Also, if you look at their magic that they're casting on like the Quandrix command, which is the only card we have spoiled
crazy
right now,
fractal shit.
So cool, like fractals, circles, fucking like geometry, shit, like Fibonacci sequence.
There is a little Fibonacci spiral in there.
So cool, and it's like you love to see that like real nerd shit. And like they're the nerds of this school. We've got theater kids, we've got the jocks, we've got the goths, and the nerds. And then finally moving on to our final college of the day. Who could it be? Everyone knows what it is. It's Silver Quill, who are the, like, as we just said, the rich prep kids, who are the ones who say, my dad is a lawyer, or he's the Draco Malfoy kind of vibe. Yeah. They're like, excuse me for making like a Harry Potter reference. They're kind of the Slytherin-esque vibe, but not
they're
really.
also kind of badass, and I'm only saying that because the first thing we saw from it was the dude that was casting magic through writing with an ink, and I just thought that was cool, man.
They're very sick.
Like the art for I can't remember where I saw it. We posted it. I can't remember what set it was for. But it's this guy with black hair, he's kind of cool mage robes. He's like just drawing with like ink, but it's all magical, and it looks really cool to cast by like drawing. It's really smart.
Yeah, and like they're actually very interesting. So they wield magic using words and like written word, and that's how they like channel their magic. Now they also
that's an awfully hot coffee pot.
Wow, that's an awfully hot cock. What?
God. Solid cock. All right. No, but like they wield the magic of like words, and they like have kind of like battle poetry, but also these guys are like straight up bards. They have like arcane, like biting word, and they're like super stylish and intimidating, and also like very, very competitive. And they're kind of similar to that like Orzhov kind of ambition with like no sort of outward limiter on where you can go with that. But they're also like super charismatic and like witty, you know?
These guys feel the closest to their like Ravnica daddies, if that makes sense. Like these guys feel very close to Orzhov because they are like, these mages are born leaders. Like, yeah, they feel very Orzhov inspired, even in obviously like we have the Silver Quill command, which is the the dual spell. But their words, like their house words are fucking like, it is the most like preppy
obnoxious
shit I've ever heard. It's like,
do you want to
Sharp style, sharper wit.
Yeah, like e-boys. This is a guild of e-boys and e-girls.
Yeah, no. These are the type of guys that will approach you for like a guild fight, but they're gonna come clicking their fingers like West Side Story towards you.
Yeah. That's the guy who like asks for a cigarette, and then when you ask him for a cigarette, he doesn't have one.
Yeah, he's like, you ask him he asks you for a cigarette, and then you ask him for a lighter, and he says, "Sorry, man, I don't smoke." And it's just like, it's one of them ones.
Yeah, or like the dude who like invites you to like go to a party with like people that you don't know, and then like you go to the party, and he's like 2 hours late, and it's like, dude, like I don't know anyone else here. Like, what do you want from me? Like, this is so awkward. And then he comes like, oh yeah, sorry man, I was just with the boys. We were just watching this fucking thing. It was so fucking crazy. It was so cool. Anyways, can you tell this is coming from a very personal place?
No, dude, I can't.
But like,
you know what? Let's pause and work through this.
Yeah. Let's just like unpack this really, really
cool.
Cool. No, but the Silver Quill are really, really interesting. I would like to see kind of more where they lean, like not only aesthetically but also like mechanically, because I feel like we'll get a better idea of how different these guys are from Orzhov, as well as Witherbloom with Golgari, once we see mechanically how they play and like what they're putting emphasis on, because that always reflects on like the faction itself as a whole. But so cool. I'm so excited for all of these colleges. Now, I know who Kings is going with. Allie, which college are you aligning with when we go to Stryxhaven? What are you thinking?
It's hard, man. I like the coolness of like casting with ink, but I hate what they fucking stand for. So I gotta take the e-boys out of this. I'm kind of leaning. I mean, listeners should know by now, and you guys definitely know, like my fucking two other co-hosts, my good friends, how much of a lore whore I am. A little word I coined myself, because I'm that much of a lore whore. So I kind of like going with leave no stone unturned, but I'm also kind of vibing the Simic because I'm not super invested in math myself. The only math I fucking do is when I'm playing Magic or playing D&D. I don't care for it. But I feel like if I was in Magic, I would be a wizard who would try and break quantum science down to do crazy spells. I mean, the wizard I play, my friend's campaign, Xandar, that is him. He tries to break spells with just his brute force with knowledge and experimenting. So I say from like if I was a heavy caster, maybe Simic for that kind of like equation and rewriting spells through math. Or, if I really went to the track down this lore, so I'd probably say either, the lore guild or the Simic one.
Absolutely. And so we've got I feel like Lorehold is your jam, Allie. I feel like it hits all of the things that I associate with you. Plus, we've discussed this before on this podcast. I am a firm believer that Allie is solidly Jeskai. And so like it just fits, man. Like theoretically, narratively, physically, it just fits. I could see you dressed up like an Indiana Jones type, jumping into a cave and finding an old ruin and saying, "This is mine now."
What makes you think I would be a lore jock? I mean, I'm only 6'4".
Yeah, you absolute fucking unit of a man.
And I mean, I was a theater kid in high school, so of course I go Prismari.
Yeah, I was hypothetically, I was a pothead. So
for legal purposes, hypothetically.
For legal purposes, my lawyer is looking at me shaking his head. For legal purposes, imagine, right? If I was.
Imagine.
I like Witherbloom because I love, like, Druid is one of my favorite classes in D&D, and, like, Green Black just hit different, bitch. Like, that's it. One thing I do want to say about Stryxhaven, and, like, especially with the Quandrix thing, like, you'll notice there is an owl there, and this is just it's a weird gripe of mine, growing up loving mythology. There's an owl there, to be, like, a smart character and be like, owls are very smart. Owls are, like, one of the dumbest fucking birds, right? But we classically, like, we think they're very intelligent because they're the sign of Athena and shit. Like, Stryxhaven as well, like, the whole name Stryxhaven comes from a genus of, like, owls, which is, like, the spotted barn owl, Stryxhaven, like, bird haven, owl haven.
Yeah.
Owls are dumb. That's my whole thing. Owls are fucking dumb.
I will say there is a classic Magic history of having owls be called Stryxes in the cards. Like, you've got Baleful Stryx, you've got, like, Tidehollow Stryx, Sky Theater Stryx, like Parasitic Stryx, Blizzard Stryx. All the owls in the game are referred to as Stryxes. So I can imagine they're going, like, thematically consistent with that and saying, if we're making the owl our figurehead, then we're going to call it Stryxhaven or whatever the fuck. But very, very sick. Fun little info dump from Kingsley.
Ali talks all about his, love for lore. I love lore as well, but I like real life lore even more. Like a little, I'm a real little lore whore for real life stuff. As we say that, I think we're gonna shift over super quickly to what Ali was talking about, or what Ali's come prepared for, which is the new Universes Beyond stuff.
Oh man, I could already hear the comments in my head.
Yeah, I know. It's been like in the Magic community, it's been a fucking week,
Divisive Universes Beyond.
Yeah.
Oh, it most certainly has. This week we got the news that Wizards of the Coast got a big boy promotion at Hasbro, and they've got a fancy new logo and stuff, and they're now got much more power over themselves than they had before. But I'm here to talk about Universes Beyond. This has very much scasmed the community down the middle. But I mean, who knows? Because people say a lot of shit online, and as much shit as the Walking Dead set got, it was one of the most paid products Wizards have ever had for Magic. So a lot of folk, like, I honestly was shocked at how much backlash they got. I didn't like what they did with it, but I was shocked at how much hate they actually got. But then you look at the sales, and it was a ridiculous sales they made. So, who knows? Who knows what people screwing and crying about online actually affects, considering their sales are through the roof. But Universes Beyond is this new thing that Wizards have put forth for Magic the Gathering, where they're basically expanding the universe to not only things that are in Magic. now we're going to have coming. It's not this year because we already know the roadmap for this year. But we're having a crossover with Warhammer 40k and Lord of the Rings, and it doesn't stop there. They have said they are going to branch into like many other genres and fantasy worlds. It isn't going to be canon though with Ravnica and the set. This is going to be its own thing. This will be known as
nor is it
Universes
legal.
Beyond. Well, not legal in standard. It will be legal in almost every other format. But before I dive into it, what do you guys think about this?
I think it's like, I genuinely think if you've got people who are fans of this kind of content, like who love Magic the Gathering but love other IPs, like, yeah, sure, why not combine them? Like, I don't see the reason to get super upset over it. It's just a brand new piece of content. Like, that is fully what it is. If you like Warhammer 40k, Warhammer 40k tried to do a card game. Wasn't a great card game, but if you want to have a game that does your favorite IPs justice, the Magic game system is a good system to use. It's very fun, it's very easy to learn, and it's just I think it makes for a very good. I lost my fucking point. I lost my whole last point. I think it's just very fun.
I've seen a few people come out and say, a few celebrities. I say celebrities in our space, not like The Rock and stuff like that. But I've seen people come out and saying they're super excited for this. They love the Magic system, and literally, almost verbatim, I don't give a shit about the world. I just like the mechanics. So, and that the person that said that was a massive 40k fan. They said, I don't give a fuck about Magic's lore. I like the mechanics and that's it. And I love 40k, so I can mix them too. Yeah, I'm going to come back to Magic after all these years. I've seen a lot of statements like that out there. That I don't give a fuck. I guess it makes sense. Magic's got a great system. Not everybody cares about the lore. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of the backlash does come from a lot of gatekeeping. You do hate to see it.
And that's the sort of stuff.
You get it with everything, though, man. You get some people that are gatekeeping, like, Wizards is Magic's my product, and I don't want 40k players, Lord of the Rings players coming in. Like, dude, that's how progress is made, and that's how things grow. Yeah. More people take part. Am I thrilled that Warhammer and Lord of the Rings were coming into this? I don't know much about Warhammer. I love Lord of the Rings, read a lot of it. Don't know how I feel yet. It's hard to word. It just feels strange to me this is going on. Like, I don't hate it. It's just I feel weird. I just feel weird by it because I worded it to Anne, and I can't remember what I said at all. I wish I could. I had a reason for it, and I've just drawn a blank now. But it makes me feel really weird, man. Like, I love Magic the Gathering so much, and it's weird that I'm going to be slinging cards with like Legolas and Aragorn on them, and it's not even they're going to be like the Godzilla cards. They're going to be like that is going to be their name on it, and it's just super strange to me, man. I don't know why it irks me the way it does. I'm not outright hating it. And I'm
of course,
and I'm not in the field of Wizard should die. Nothing like that. It's just it makes me feel weird. I think it's the only way I can say it.
The thing about it is it feels very much, and I don't want this to come off as like, oh, this is a bad idea or this is all a prank. It feels very much like a corporate April Fool's announcement. Like, it has that same energy to it, but it is genuinely true. But here's the thing. If the content upsets you and you don't want to play that, here's the thing. You don't have to. Like with Magic, if you like a specific set, you buy that set. You don't have to. Like, I'm not like being malicious and saying, oh, don't be silly, you don't get so upset, don't get your knickers in a twist. It's more or less just like, cool, if you don't like that content, don't purchase that content. It's the same for any kind of DLC. It's not locking off any kind of features for you. It's just a different IP on the same system. It's like when we run D&D, me specifically, I play D&D as I have a sci-fi campaign. Sure, I could use Starfinder, but I love D&D because I know the system, right? It's the same thing. It's just you're reskinning. Like, you're just reskinning it. And, like Ali said, people might not care for the lore, but for fans of 40k like me, or fans of Lord of the Rings, or fans of other content, it's a fun way for you to interact with that lore. Like, there's so much.
I mean, one thing that made me kind of vibe with it more is they came out and said the main thing for it. Well, we know the main thing for it's fucking money. I don't care what Wizards say. The main thing for it's fucking money, man. But they said, this is really mostly for Commander players, and Commander players like playing really cool, big, cool, legendary creatures. And I was like, you know what? That's fucking fair. You know what? Like, I don't play Commander for the lore. Yeah, I've got lore-themed decks, but slinging fucking awesome legendary creatures is what I love about it. We'll see how it goes. If we get like a fucking set that's like Universes Beyond, My Little Pony, like we got with that old Secret Lair years ago, I'm gonna be like, are you fucking kidding me, man? We know that the Holo Stamp is going to be the exact same type of stamp the Walking Dead Secret Lair had, and that is what all Universe Beyond foils are going to look like. Very distinguishable from the regular Holo Stamps. And I'll quickly go over just some of the news so you guys can be informed before we go back to engaging in this conversation. So, it will be sold via most Magic channels. They're all also not going to be Secret Lair. I think they did hear the backlash from Walking Dead. I did say it was their most sold product, but the biggest reason people hate it because it was Walking Dead brought into Magic, but another reason is people couldn't order it in Brazil. People can order it at certain locations, and if they could, they had to pay like outrageous shipping, so it wasn't that accessible. So they're going to steer away from the Secret Lair. We know that the first one's going to be Commander decks, and the first one's going to be Warhammer 40k Commander decks. And Universe's products are not limited to Secret Lair drops, but they have said on occasion will be associated with Secret Lair products. So, they said they're basically going to do it in a way that the Secret Lair Godzilla lands were done from Ikoria. So, just small things like the lands, but you can still get, like how in Ikoria, you could still pull the Godzilla cards from the packs. It's just the Godzilla lands were only in Secret Lair. So, they'll probably do like maybe 40k and Lord of the Rings land that is in Secret Lair, but the rest of the stuff will be in products that are very much easier to access for people around the globe. It will also be offered as an occasional quoted. I'm saying that take that with a grain of salt because you don't know what they might do once it sells if it sells really well. As an occasional standalone product, kind of like the recent Walking Dead thing, it will be its own thing. And Universe Beyond cards will not be standard legal, but they will, from what it seems like, be legal in almost every format. That's likely probably to change with Historic, Vintage, Modern, Pioneer. There are like 20 other ways there are to play Magic, but we know straight off the bat they are Commander legal unless the Rules Committee says otherwise. For those that don't know, a little bit of information. Wizards of the Coast do not own Commander, and they don't make the rules for it, and they don't get to decide what's banned and not banned. That is actually up to the Rules Committee to decide what is banned and unbanned in Magic. Commander, anyway. Next thing is going to be that they recently announced, and I'm very, very happy about this, over the moon actually, they recently announced D&D set, Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, isn't going to be a Universe Beyond product, which I think is fucking great, because that means it is officially tying the worlds together now. That means all your Magic the Gathering planes are coming into Forgotten Realms because they are not making it a Universe Beyond thing, which means it will be canon in the world of Magic, which I think's pretty awesome.
Quick thing. Strixhaven is a multiverse-based academy, right? It exists on a plane, but it is accessible to the whole multiverse, which means Strixhaven can exist within D&D now. Like Wizards for the past few years have been moving towards more synergistic products in MTG and D&D. But that's exciting shit.
Interesting. I didn't actually know that about Strixhaven. I didn't know that it was like a Planeswalker hub, but that's very, very cool.
Yeah, no, it's the whole it's a multiversal college. A few other small things. Wizards of the Coast, and this I've got a little sheet here, and this is directly quoted. Wizards of the Coast is, and this is where the quote will start, reserving the Universe Beyond branding for worlds outside those built by Wizards of the Coast, end quote, for now. That is the way they're going to go about it. And the Dungeons and Dragons Adventures in the Forgotten Realm are not canonically a part of the multiverse for now, and that is an official statement from Magic. So, for now, but that, with everything, is very much likely to change. We know that the cards within the Universe Beyond will feature a variety of treatments and that is exactly according to Wizards of the Coast. Whether the border is going to be, there's rumored to be, so again, take it with a grain of salt. It's going to be gold bordered, like somehow like their Transformer cards, My Little Pony cards were silver bordered. These might be gold. But yeah, that is all the information we have right now. This has torn the community up because there's a lot of people. I think it comes into gatekeeping. It also comes into people people usually don't like change. This is a pretty big change to swallow down. But you gotta look at the positives. It's going to bring in the Lord of the Rings community and the Warhammer 40k community. Growth is good for something we care about because if growth keeps happening, then we know Magic ain't going to die anytime soon. And it brings people together, man, and you can't really be mad at a product that brings people down together, even if it is a blatant cash grab. The only reason I think, again, this has actually become a thing is because Walking Dead Secret Lair was the most money they've made from a product in the last 5 years. And I think Hasbro were like, how can we do this again then? And this is what led to them devoting a full division to this since they saw just how much bank they made with the Walking Dead Secret Lair. I'm just glad it's not going to be a secret lair, so it should be accessible for everybody. I'm just hoping that they don't forget to make regular Magic sets, if you guys know what I mean.
Oh, for sure they will.
I really hope that we don't move. I'm not saying like this year, next year, but in the future we don't completely move away from just regular sets. And they're like, only do sets from other shit.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
I think.
Go for it, Haz.
Okay, go ahead. No, you go for it.
I was going to say, Wizards have seen an insane amount of success over the past 5-6 years, mainly due to like the repopularization of Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering. I mean, YouTube has a massive part to do with that, so do like streaming platforms like Twitch. But while it may be a cash grab, it is still, like you said, there's an element of gatekeeping to it that I really, in the community, that makes me, like, it leaves a nasty taste in my mouth. This isn't, we live in a globalized world. Whether or not you like that.
I mean, gatekeeping in any format's not fucking cool, man. No matter how way you slice that pie, if you gatekeep, you're a piece of shit.
And we're not trying to gatekeep gatekeeping. These are just...
Yeah, no, honestly, it's just a fact. If you gatekeep anything, you're a piece of shit, man, because why shouldn't someone else enjoy it?
Yeah.
If someone shits in something you love, I get it, but... like, just because you like something and love it doesn't mean that you have the right to restrict someone else from accessing that, man. I'm super against gatekeeping. That's why I said, like, my feelings on this set don't come from a gatekeeping point of view. It just makes me feel weird, and I can't think how to word it. It just makes me feel strange. I love Lord of the Rings to death, and I have read a bit of 40k lore because, well,
it's
when you're like 4 in the morning on YouTube, I just love reading lore. But I don't really play any much Warhammer. Like I said, it just makes me feel weird. I think, am I going to get the Warhammer Commander decks? Probably, because Commander decks are that's some of my favourite times of the year when they bring out new Commander decks, even though now it seems to be becoming a thing with every set, which kind of makes me mad, because I like, kind of like, less is more, and getting like one Commander set a year was fucking badass. They were getting Commander decks every fucking set. But I'm probably going to buy the hell out of these, man. I think it's going to be fun. And hey, if they make some new badass cards out of this, I think it'll be really fucking cool. I know in the 40k set, for those who are interested, it isn't going to be, the Commander decks aren't going to all be brand new 40k cards. Some will be reprinted. I'm guessing what they'll do for the reprints is they'll either change the art to fit 40k, or they'll just throw them in, but we know we are getting reprints in these 40k Commander decks that are presumably going to be coming out next year.
I mean, surely spells and stuff like that, but the Commanders are all going to be, it feels like the Commanders at least would be unique.
The Commanders will be unique,
Yeah. I have things to say about Universes Beyond. They're probably not... Yeah, I will say this. They're probably not the same things you guys would say about them, but I would like to state that I am never in the lane of excluding someone from a hobby that you love for, like, any reason, unless they're an asshole, But, like, so here I'm kind of apprehensive about Universes Beyond. Now, the reason I am apprehensive about it is because these sets are going to be legacy legal, and they didn't state outright whether they would be modern legal or not, but it was like kind of on the fence, so you never know. But so here's what I am a little bit apprehensive about. I don't actually really mind that new franchises and new IPs are being brought to the Magic system. I would prefer that they get like a gold border or a silver border, and not be black border, but like whatever. I would like it to be kind of like a fun thing they do, and they go, yes, these are cards we're making. They can be used by people who say it's okay. And then you can have like LGSs do like, hey, Universes Beyond night. You can make decks with cards from Universes Beyond and make it just like a running set thing. The fact that it'll be legacy legal is kind of what makes me apprehensive, because if you are printing cards with unique mechanics and unique kind of text on them, you really have to be careful, especially with Universes Beyond, because there are people who play Legacy. There's the people who I found who play Legacy are not like new players. They're people who've been playing Magic for a while.
Oh yeah, you're not going to get a new fresh off the boat player playing fucking Legacy, that's for sure.
Exactly.
I mean,
and so
I was just going to say, like, it's a whole, like, a lot of people in the Magic community, like, it's a lovely community. I truly do love Magic, but people will shit on casuals, right? That is what this is geared toward. Universes Beyond is geared toward casuals. Which I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have any qualms with like making a Warhammer 40k commander precons or whatever. I don't mind there being commander cards that are from the Lord of the Rings universe, Warhammer. And if someone came to my playgroup and said, hey, I have a Universes Beyond commander, is that cool? Most likely I would say, yeah. I mean, it doesn't really matter. The thing about Legacy, right? And the thing about these being legacy legal, as with all products, everything goes into Legacy. The issue is, if you print a Gandalf card, right, and accidentally the Gandalf card is really, really fucking good at what it does, you're playing Legacy. The people who are playing that, the old heads is what you might call them, now to remain competitive within that environment, they now need to play a Gandalf card in their Magic the Gathering deck. And some of them might not be comfortable with that. And that's what I'm not comfortable with.
A kind of forced power creep.
Yeah, or even just like, I agree with Kingsley in that if you don't like it, you don't have to play with it. If it is legacy legal and there are cards that are the best at the thing you're trying to do because it's unique card text, you kind of have to play that card to remain competitively viable. And now suddenly in legacy tournaments, you have cards that are Magic IP, but then you also have some dude who's playing a Gandalf deck. And I feel like for some people, that might take out the vibe of the game that they've come to love.
Yeah.
Now, that's not necessarily how I feel entirely, but I understand where that's coming from. And it's not necessarily a gatekeeping aspect of, rather, it's like, when I'm playing Magic, I want to make sure that there can be a space where I'm just playing from the Magic IP. And like, if Universes Beyond was a set that could be included or excluded on like in like a format, like say they made a Universes Beyond format and said, in this format Universes Beyond is legal, but I don't like the idea of it being auto included in like Modern or Legacy. It's not going to be a standard set, but like there's just something about that is like, if they just do one wrong thing, they may have a Legacy deck that is one of the top 3 Legacy decks with like a Golem creature in there, and that might just be a little bit off for me. I don't know. I think maybe it kind of takes the flavor out.
It's why the rules committee. It's why the rules committee for Commander. The first rule they ever had was a thing called Rule 0, and this is the most important rule in all Commander. The Commander has a shit ton of rules, but the most important rule in Commander is Rule 0. And this isn't bullshit. This is an actual rule they have named Rule 0, and Rule 0 is only if the playgroups having fun. So a lot of when this Walking Dead set got announced, a lot of the playgroups that I see at my LGS, I don't play my LGS. Well, I play active, I don't play with randoms. I've got a playgroup that I play Commander with, and a lot of the people in the play, I overheard them when I was in buying cards, like, yeah, Rule 0, no Walking Dead Secret Lair. And that can suck for people that really love The Walking Dead. Like, I saw some people that really love The Walking Dead and they really wanted to make a Negan deck. But that's the good thing about Commander being a fan-made format. It isn't made by Wizards. The most important rule, and they even said it themselves, is Rule 0, and that's if it's what the playgroup's okay with. And I agree with Harry, printing these cards and saying, I mean, who knows, maybe they won't be legal in Legacy and stuff, but if they print these cards and go, it's legal in Legacy, and you sit down at your LGS, and you bring out your Legacy deck, and you start getting your ass beat, because these cards are just too good, and you're playing with cards that like first came out with Magic, it's going to suck, because if someone's like, I don't like that card. Well, tough. It's fucking Legacy legal, so I'm going to play it. I don't know. You're a random guy at the game store, so you're going to play or not. And it's like, now do you play a format, not many people play and you love it, and now you can't play it, or do you have to play and deal with getting your ass beat, or you have to evolve and buy these cards? So I do see where I was coming
buy
from.
the Gandalf card. Like, do you
but
submit to like a sort of altered version of it? You know,
power creep is never fun. Power creep is not fun.
No. But also think about, like, as much as it sounds like I'm the optimist here, it truly is just that I'm the one with the least, like, competitive play, and I not care the least about Magic. I love Magic, but like, think about the fucking possibilities. A Legend of Zelda set, that would be sick.
See, I don't even know how I feel about that, to be honest, man. Like, one thing I will say is, see if they keep the art the same, I'm fine. See if I fucking see these Lord of the Ring cards get printed. Now, this is just a hypothesis.
And it's photorealistic.
This is just an example. If they fucking print a fucking Lord of the Ring set and it's screen grabs from the movie, I'm going to be fucking livid. Because the thing is that, like I said, and it's probably stupid to get mad about. Because say someone in my playgroup slams down a fucking screen grab at Aragorn, I'm not going to get off from the table and walk away. I'm going to keep playing. I'm just going to see it and be like, what the fuck? Like, it feels like a bad, man. Card. Yeah, it does. It's like, keep the fucking, at least if you're going to do all these fucking Universe Beyond sets, make sure you're keeping the artist you've got or the art style you have. I don't want to see a picture of, like, super, not like really amazing art. I don't want to see a photograph picture of a fucking Lando Bloom get slammed down on a playmat. If it's art of Legolas, I don't give a shit. But see if I get this, like, photorealistic stuff, and so they do a Legend of Zelda shit, and it's like in this Pokemon art. No, don't sully the game's beauty. Like, that was one thing that drew me in. I remember when Kingsley first got Magic cards, before I even played. I didn't play until like 10 years after this. But Kingsley showed me Magic cards that he bought, and the old school lands and shit, and I was like, wow. And I looked at Yu-Gi-Oh cards and being like, this looks so different. This is gorgeous. And see if we start getting, like, Pokemon-looking cards with Zelda, if they do a Zelda set, or full realistic, I'll be fucking livid, because I'm not gatekeeping. It's just a matter of when you love something so much and just see it be shit on, it fucking sucks. Is the point I'm touching on, man.
Here's the thing. Did they do that with the Walking Dead Secret Lair? Was it screen grabs or was it actual art?
Give me a sec. It's not screen grabs, but holy fuck, is it mighty realistic.
Yeah. It's weird because you find yourself, or rather Wizards now find themselves in that position where it is either we upset one community over the other, right? So with Warhammer 40k, it's very easy because the art style is somewhat similar. There's no realism to it. But with the Lord of the Ring things, I get that. I feel like the art style will be more like what we see in the D&D books or what we see in the Forgotten Realms, in the Forgotten Realms set. I don't think Wizard are going to compromise quality on this. I just, as much, like, one, because of the amount of backlash there's already been, but two, because it's a Wizards product, they attach their name to it.
I've posted some pictures, Kingsley, for you. Some of them are still loading, but the only way I can describe the Walking Dead Secret Lair set is it's pictures they have taken with a camera, and it's like a Snapchat filter that makes it look like a painting. I put some in for you to look at, Kingsley. I don't mean I've seen them, but there's a few. If you look at the Daryl one, it'll just take a picture of and then put like an Instagram filter over it to make them look like it was drawn. Like, you can tell these haven't been drawn. But like, I just don't want this to become like, it's different, man. See if it's like 5 or 6 cards, who cares? If you're gonna give me a full set and every fucking card is screen grabs, kind of like the top, you guys remember Top Trump cards? Remember that shit?
What I'm saying.
Yeah. If these look like Top Trump cards, man, it's just gonna, the thing is, it's not like I'm gonna stop playing Magic. I love Magic. It's the only way I can word it is, it's just that feels bad, man. You know, when you love a property so much. The thing is, Wizards own it. They can do what the fuck they want with it. They can cancel Magic tomorrow, and no one can say shit because they own it. It just sucks when you care about it and you see the route is going down. I'm hoping this does not lead to much darker things down the path. I'm very optimistic because competitiveness breeds good business, and I have to just say though, I am worried for the state of the game moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, just the apprehension for me comes from if there are cards that are mechanically unique, like Nigan, like the Cold-Blooded, he's like that Martyr card. Really cool design on the card, like in terms of what it does. My only gripe with it is like, if I want to play that card, now I have to have a Walking Dead character in my deck, and I don't like the Walking Dead, and like it's just like I don't want to have to play the Gandalf card if I want a card that does what Gandalf does, you know? Like if I could get an alternate version of Gandalf, which is like a magic creature from the magic lore, it does the same thing, and you could have both sides of those cards, or not sides, but like two of those cards do the same thing. One that has Gandalf, one that's an actual magic card. I don't mind that. I just don't want to.
Well,
have
that's
to play
actually
Gandalf.
really funny you say that, Harry, because when I was on
They
Twitter,
did that in
well,
Ikoria, didn't they?
Yeah, they
well,
did the Godzilla card.
They did that,
Yeah.
they did that in Godzilla, yeah. But what's really funny is I saw on Twitter, I follow a few proxy artists that like would use, because I want to get some made now. Just for those who don't know, proxy, not in the sense as a fake card. There's a lot of artists out there that if you send them your card, they will edit it and like draw on it. So like people will take cards that aren't full art and they will like use the same colors in the background. And say for example, it was the Ur Dragon. Instead of it being the card frame, they will paint over the card frame, so it's just the art, the name, what it does, and it's literally like holding a little miniature portrait. It's amazing, and so I follow a few of them when I've got money. I can send some cards in to have like the art extended and stuff. But a lot of the artists I follow said they were not taking commissions for a while because they had received so many commissions for people sending the Walking Dead cards in to be redrawn as actual fucking like. Make them look like they're from Magic the Gathering. Yeah, I'll try and find them so you guys can see them. Or even just type in like Walking Singular proxy. You probably find a few like articles about it. Of people actually taking these like Darl and Negan cards in, writing over the name as like a new name, and then drawing new art on top of it to make it look like it fits. And it was just crazy when you spend all this money in a secret layer to then send your card in to be altered. When you're spending like secret layers like $200 to $300 for like 5 cards, and you're buying it for the how secret the cards are to then be like, here's an artist, paint over all of that.
Yeah, for real. But yeah, I mean, again, I love Warhammer 40k. I interact with the fans on the page and talk about how I love the Tau. I love Warhammer. I played it. It's such a great series. I love Lord of the Rings. I watched the Rankin Bass Hobbit. Yeah, I grew up watching the Rankin Bass Hobbit movie, which is like not great, but like I love it.
One. Yeah.
The old ass one. And like I love these series. I love all of them. I love Magic, I love D&D, I love all of them. I just don't want to be forced into taking part in a crossover all the time, right? I don't want it to be a Lord of the Rings Magic.
You don't want this to be the new core set.
Yeah, you don't want something fun. Sorry, that sounded like an attack. You don't want something fun to come along and ruin the integrity of the entire.
That is the wording. I don't want the integrity of Magic being shit on here.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just don't want to be playing Magic and I'm like, cool, I'm having a fun time playing my Tarkir deck. I made it Zergo Helm Smasher, and he's here. He's gonna fight dragons, and the guy shows up. He's like, "This is my commander. It's Gandalf," and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, I just don't want like Magic's the cards are so unique, and I don't want it to be where the only cards anyone's playing. And I'm not saying like because they're the good cards. I'm saying like 4 or 5 years down the line, the only cards are like, yeah, man, I've got the Red Power Ranger. What have you got on my packet? I got fucking. Freddy from fucking Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, I don't want to miss the old fucking shitty cards. Like, I don't want this to be like Magic the Gathering is like, you know, like pop vinyls. I don't want that. I don't want Magic the Gathering turned to pop vinyl game where it's only those fucking cards.
But
and there was a point I was about to touch on and I completely just blanked on it. Absolutely. Wow.
One thing I will say while Ali gets his brain back together is just remembering that this is more or less a complement to Magic as a system. You know, at the end of the day, this is content fans of other universes will enjoy and will get to play because the Magic system is robust enough to allow them that opportunity. And I think that's the important thing.
Oh, I remember. It's a little bit off topic. I just find it hilarious that Magic the Gathering, Wizards of the Coast are doing a crossover with Lord of the Rings, considering Tolkien sued the shit out of them.
Yep.
years and years ago. For those that don't know, Wizards, the reason Halfling is called Halfling is because they called it Hobbit, and the Tolkien organization sued the shit out of Wizards. And that's why they're called halflings. We all know they're hobbits, but the reason they're called halflings is because Tolkien sued the shit out of Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast, and now it's like, hey, crossover because la money.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
for
a
sure.
crazy
I mean,
world
but
we live in,
again,
folks.
if you were listening to this and you're like, oh, but I thought the Universe Beyond thing was really cool and I want to see this come together, I want you to know that I don't think that you're not worth any less as a Magic fan if you like this.
Oh,
and you want this to
100%
happen.
not.
And I don't even think I'm probably going to buy one of those Commander pre-codes.
Oh, 100% me as well. The thing is, like, I can't even think of an example, but let's just throw something out there. Let's say if Magic announced, like, a fucking Fate Zero crossover or an Attack on Titan crossover, I'd be like, this is fucking awesome, fuck yeah. So, like, see if you're a listener and you're legitimately hyped for the Warhammer and the Lord of the Rings set, all I can say is more power to you. Be happy. Don't let anyone chalk shit. Again, all we're talking about is our personal opinions on this. Am I thrilled? Maybe not. Are you thrilled? Yeah. And if you are, that's fucking awesome. And I'm genuinely happy for you because you should be thrilled that you're, say, for example, Lord of the Rings and Magic are your two favorite things. Then I am envious of you for having those two things come together and you're happy about that. Don't let someone bring you down because you're excited about it. Again, we're just giving our personal opinions on a game we love. It holds no merit on your fucking life. If you're really happy for it, then be happy for it. And we're just voicing our personal opinions. At the end of the day, we may love the game. It's a business that needs to make money, or Hasbro will just consume them. So hey, it's dog eat dog world out there, man. Business is brutal. It just sucks that hey, if they keep it to the fantasy genre, awesome. I'm just worried we'll get like what Fortnite and Pop Vinyl are doing. The Terminator set, the Marvel set. Yeah. I love Marvel so fucking much. If I see a Marvel playing card, I'm flipping the fucking table. That's
Captain America.
If I see Iron Man on a fucking Is-It card, I'm losing my shit. That's all I can say. I don't want to see those worlds. They have, like, the thing is, one thing before we end in this, because we're coming up to the time mark and we'll be signing off. Last thing I just want to fucking say is it's hilarious because Lord of the Rings has a TCG. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, we've talked enough on that. Unless you guys, I'm not going to cut you guys off. If you guys have more time to say, Ali, I'm personally done with this. You guys are free to keep talking a minute though.
No, I think I literally just want to back up what you guys said. It's, we're adults. We earn our own money. We spend that money on like hobbies we enjoy. If you enjoy something, do not ever let anyone tell you off or make you feel bad for enjoying that. Unless of course it's a crime.
Yeah, unless you're enjoying it as affecting something else. At the end of the day, it's kind of like sex. Don't get in anyone else's business. As long as it's two consenting adults, who gives a shit? Everything's fine and legal. If you're an adult with your own money, or maybe you're not an adult, maybe you're a fucking teenager and you've got your own fucking money that you work a paper round for, or you work in a restaurant, you choose to spend your own fucking money at the end of the day, and don't let anyone tell you how to fucking spend it. That's really
your opinion.
If it's between a consenting player and a consenting mana rock, who are we to judge?
Yeah,
exactly.
Consenting person, consenting business. Who are we to judge?
That's a lovely place for us to end on. So, genuinely, just like from the heart, I do mean this. Enjoy what you are passionate about. Never let anyone derail you from your passions. It might seem crazy saying that about a card game, but if this is what you love, it's what you love. You can't change that about yourself, and don't let anyone else make you feel bad for that.
We literally started a business about fantasy and card games.
Yeah.
And hey, we said it the best ourselves, or I missaid it. Let your freak flavor fly.
Exactly. Let your freak flavor fly. Bro. And with that, folks, we've been Saving Throws. You can find us online. If you want to talk to us on our Facebook page, you can do that. If you want to talk to us on Twitter at Throw Saving, you can do that. If you want to talk to us on Instagram, you can do that. If you want to watch our stuff on YouTube, come along. SoundCloud too. Why not? With that, folks, we've had a lovely time talking to you, maybe, or talking to each other. We've been Saving Throws. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you don't, we will put you in a holofoil card and send you off to the universes beyond. Bye-bye, folks.
Bye, everybody.